Okay, welcome back. So we're going to record the talking head video voiceover for the keynote slides, and it works almost the same way with PowerPoint and Camtasia. So let's go. So here's what the ScreenFlow screen looks like. We're all ready, and we'll go to Keynote, and there is the lecture 1 for a roasting coffee course. And I've changed the color to mocha. Hope you guys like it. I think it's more appropriate for the course that we're doing. So anyway, we've got all the slides over here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and record a talking head voiceover. And see this kind of faint box? I don't know if you guys can see this on your screen, but I've made a very faint 16 by 9 rectangle so that when we're done with the video, we'll just pop it right in there. And I'll show you how that works. It's really simple. So we just go up here to play. And so what we do now is we're in Keynote, and we actually hit the play button and manually just record a voiceover while we're videotaping ourselves, because ScreenFlow is videotaping like multiple things at the same time. It's videotaping your presentation in Keynote, which we'll do in a minute, and it's also videotaping you as a talking head video, is giving the presentation. So it's really cool. And then later on, you can pick and choose which footage that you want to show or not show. So it's really cool. So you don't have to really stress about what's being recorded, because everything's being recorded. So let's try this. So here we go. Welcome to section 1, finding green coffee beans. So in this section, we're going to go over choosing the best beans in lecture 1. In lecture 2, we're going to talk about where to buy the best coffee beans. And then in lecture 3, we're going to talk about how to store and prepare your green coffee beans. Lecture 1, choosing the best beans. We're going to talk about the country of origin and how that has an impact on the flavor and the aroma of beans. We'll compare single origin versus blends. We'll talk about organic beans versus conventional beans. And then finally, we'll talk about bean type, Arabica and Robusta. So the coffee industry classifies beans based on where they're grown, the country and the region. So if you want a spicy, caramely, chocolatey bean, you might choose beans from Indonesia. If you want a lighter, fruitier bean, you might choose beans from Central America, that kind of thing. They even get even more specific. They drill down to the certain beans in a certain country from a certain estate, so they keep the flavor and the aromas consistent based on the soil and the climate and the growing methods and so forth. So there's a ton of unique flavors and aromas. It just depends on what country the bean was grown in. Now, a lot of people are purists, and they just want a bean from a single country or region, a single origin bean. And then some people like to blend their beans together. I happen to like Mocha Java. That's one of the oldest blends of beans there is in the world. So it just goes by your personal preference. Now, there's a lot of organic coffee beans out on the market and also conventional beans. So the organic beans are going to be grown without pesticides and chemicals in a more sustainable environment and so forth. And a lot of people feel, and myself included, that they're going to have more flavor. It's going to keep you from being exposed to all these dangerous chemicals for no good reason. And but then, there's some really good conventional beans. And so it's just, again, it's a matter of personal preference. Then there's the different bean types. So you have your Arabica bean and your Robusta bean. Now, Arabica beans are considered a lot more flavorful, and they're grown at a higher altitude, 6,000 feet. And 70% of the world's beans are Arabica beans. So you don't have to worry about not finding them. And then it's just a matter of personal preference. Robusta beans are grown at lower altitudes on flatlands. They're kind of a low-cost commercial bean. They do have a lot more caffeine, like twice the caffeine, but the flavor's not that good. The way you can tell it if you have a Robusta bean or an Arabica bean is just look at the bean, the squiggly line on the bean where it cracks. The Arabica beans have a squiggly line, and the Robusta beans have a real straight line. So, but like I say, you're not likely to run into Robusta beans. So coming up next, lecture 2, where to buy green coffee beans. You can buy them from online wholesalers, which there's plenty of those, or direct from coffee estates. I'll see you next time. Okay, so that was the talking head video on a keynote presentation. So we basically just recorded the keynote presentation running in Keynote. See? So as you can see, let me turn off the sound here. As you can see, here, I'll turn this up a little bit. Okay. We were just looking at the keynote slides, remember? And then we hit play. Play. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And so we were doing a keynote presentation inside a keynote, but we were recording the screen with ScreenFlow. I know it sounds crazy, right? And we were also recording me, as a video. So both those recordings, plus the third recording was the microphone, the Yeti, Blue Yeti microphone. So we can then take those three recordings and then we can decide in ScreenFlow which one appears at which time. And it's really easy to do that. And we'll go into detail on this in the ScreenFlow lecture, step by step. So you'll totally understand it. But I just wanted to give you kind of a peek of where this process ended after we did the talking head video. And when it was ended, it basically gave me this one video here that's just me, and then plus the sound. It includes the sound together with it, and then it gave me this video of the screen that we were doing, right? And you can also, I don't want to get in, you can split the sound away from the video so you can make those go at different times. But anyway, we'll get into that later with ScreenFlow. I'll see you guys next time.